Live from Atlanta, this is continuing coverage of Hurricane Florence on Stormwatch America. Good afternoon, I'm David Dutton. Here's the very latest on Hurricane Florence this afternoon. We have winds now of 75 miles per hour, technically making it a hurricane. We have gusts to 90 miles per hour, and Florence is moving off to the west at about 6 miles per hour. It is currently located about 700 odd miles to the southeast of Bermuda. Tracking the very latest on Florence at this hour, the storm is headed off toward the northwest, and on toward the end of the week, we'll be having a major hurricane approaching the southeastern United States. So sometime during the overnight hours of Thursday night into Friday morning, Florence will be moving in somewhere around the Wilmington, North Carolina area. However, all residents along the southeastern coast from northeastern Florida up to about Norfolk, Virginia should closely monitor this developing weather situation. Again, we have a major hurricane, a Cat 4 hurricane with winds of 140 miles per hour or greater that will be off the southeastern United States coast late this week. This is a very dangerous and life-threatening weather situation. All interests along the coast and several hundred miles inland should closely monitor this storm. We're expecting the possibility now of anywhere from 10 to 20 inches of rain several hundred miles inland. In other words, in places like Wilmington up to Norfolk and points to the west, basically anywhere in North Carolina or Virginia, in some cases eastern South Carolina. There could also be tropical storm force winds as far west as Georgia. So this is going to affect a lot of real estate in the coming days in the southeast. Now, taking a look at this graphic, speaking of the tropical storm force winds, this is the tropical storm force winds only, and you will begin to feel those winds of 39 miles per hour or greater beginning as early as Wednesday evening along the coastlines of North Carolina and potentially into South Carolina and even into the Savannah area as we get into the overnight hours of Wednesday. So those are tropical storm force winds in excess of 39 miles per hour or greater that will be coming into areas of Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and even Virginia as the night progresses on Wednesday night. This is about 24 hours ahead of the storm and the hurricane force winds, which are 74 miles per hour or greater. So what you need to be doing now is getting ready for this storm. We're expecting winds of 140 miles per hour at the time of landfall, and this thing will still be a hurricane even as it comes into the coastline there for several hours. This is how strong this storm is going to be. And it's going to be bringing with it a lot of rain, and one of my fears and some of the computer models I've seen over the last 24 hours is that this storm may actually come into the coastline there of North Carolina and stall out. So if this hurricane stalls out, we could very well see those 10 to 20 plus inches of rain, which will leave devastating flooding across the Carolinas. No matter where you live in the Carolinas, you're going to see some catastrophic flooding. That's certainly in the realm of possibility. So what you need to be doing right now, especially along the coastline, and again several hundred miles inland, is to be, and again especially on the coast there, need to be making preparations right now of where you're going to go in the event of this storm. It looks like it's definitely going to come in somewhere into the Carolinas. Where are you going to go? Don't wait until the storm hits and then decide to leave. Now is the time you need preparing. If you know someone that's several hundred miles inland, or at least to the west of the center of where the eye is going to be, that's where you need to be going. Because if you go several hundred miles north inland, you're going to may potentially drown, because you're going to have rising flood waters and 10 to 20 inches of rain that's going to cause devastating flooding in those areas. So you need to know where you need to go, especially to the northwest of this storm right now. in the event of about 24 to 48 hours ahead of time, somewhere around Wednesday, you need to be making final preparations to possibly evacuate the coastline there. And again, several hundred miles inland, we're expecting some devastating flooding, at least based on the information that we have at the moment. Again, this could all change tomorrow, but based on the information we have at the moment, there could be the potential of catastrophic flooding several hundred miles inland into the Carolinas, particularly into central North Carolina and central Virginia. So if you live in those places, you may actually have to be prepared to evacuate in the event that a catastrophic flooding event does happen in your area. So this is going to affect a lot of people, a lot of real estate, and you need to remain calm about this, but now is the time to prepare several days ahead of this dangerous storm instead of waiting to the last minute to gather supplies, board up your home, or have an evacuation plan. You need to do that now instead of waiting to the last minute. So again, the very latest on Hurricane Florence this afternoon, it's winds of 75 miles per hour. Just become a hurricane again after already being a Cat 4 hurricane several days ago. It's went through a lot of wind shear. It's went through that now. So now it's going to do nothing but strengthen. And we're expecting this thing to be a Cat 4 hurricane with winds over 140 miles per hour as it approaches Wilmington, North Carolina during the overnight hours of Thursday into early Friday morning. So again, this is a very dangerous and life-threatening weather situation. You have a lot of time to prepare for this. Go ahead and get that 10-day supply of medication now from your pharmacy. Get your materials ready to maybe board up your home, especially if you live along the coast. Go ahead and pack your things, clothes, food, and things that you may need in the event that you may have to leave your home and go elsewhere. So that's the very latest on Florence. We will have another update live coming up at 5 p.m. this Sunday afternoon. Stay with us.